Hey guys, Indigo here. I know it's been a while since I've done an Isaac run. Well, actually, not too long. I mean, it's only been about a month ago. Um, oh, wrong save file. My apologies. This is our save file. That's my save file. I have the Lost unlocked on that one. I'm trying to get through greed mode right now. I play periodically, but at the moment, I'd mostly like to focus on getting our save file up to par. Let's see. Trying to think, what characters do we have unlocked? So we did unlock Cain last time, that's right. I'd forgotten about that. We also have Azazel, Eden, Lazarus. Let's see what else we can get unlocked with Isaac. He is the easiest character theoretically and much more balanced. So I did a video earlier for Telefang. It required me to focus a lot more, so I was having trouble talking and focusing at the same time. This is a lot easier because at least I know, must shoot and not have to read dialogue. I actually am considering there are a few little games that I like to play from time to time, and I might do like a few like silent Let's Play things just to get a feel for it. It's not that I have a problem with talking during recording, it's just I know it does distract me and I also get really nervous. Isaac isn't too bad though. I tend to be okay when I play Isaac. It's just a lot getting used to. We got the treasure room over there. That was a dumb move. Definitely could have avoided that hit, but oh well. Let's see what we got. Shoop de whoop. Oh right, we don't have the D6 yet. That's a shame. That's a crying shame. That's right. We don't get D6 until we defeat Mom's heart. It's gonna suck donkeys. Oh well, it could be worse. The ladder's not too bad, especially early game. Can we get enough coins to get it though? That's the question. And can I not put myself in a corner for once? So I guess we'll talk about a little bit on why sometimes I struggle with recording. I'm having a lot of trouble with my eyes right now. I don't really like to talk about my health because, I have quite a few problems going on and I don't want to make that everyone else's problem. But one of the things that was kind of a struggle right now to get recording done is my eyes. I have some type of health condition. They're not really too sure what it is, but it is affecting my eyes. And it is causing me to struggle with severe blurry vision. Oh, I'm stuck. Ouch. A severe blurry vision that makes it really hard to see the screen at times or to focus on the screen, especially for long periods of time. And I don't want the recordings to suck for you guys just because, my eyes don't feel like working. I'd rather do this on a day where I know my eyes are at least working moderately okay. So I can get a few recordings out and then, take a break for like a week. It's the over-focusing part that really messes with them. I also have what's known as an astigmatism. And so that definitely doesn't help either. But from what I can understand, it's not the astigmatism really that's the problem right now. It's everything else, because I've had the astigmatism my whole life. But yeah, so I apologize if it seems like there's such inconsistency with me recording. It's not that I don't want to record. Obviously, we've had a few hiccups with the channel overall. And in between all of that and then trying to record with my eyes all fucked up and shit, it's been a challenge. We'll say that. It's also why I've actually, you guys know if you've watched me long enough, I write fan fiction. I haven't even been able to write fan fiction for months, and it's so frustrating. Oh, that sucked. That sucked. Shoop de whoop. I pushed the button too quickly. That's alright. I don't normally play with that item, so that's probably why I couldn't get the timing correctly. Ouch. But, yeah, no, it's it's been a challenge to really engage in a lot of my hobbies lately. And so I really want to try and force myself to get back on track. And like I mentioned in the video for Telefang, it hasn't helped that I really have not had time due to stuff at home, among other things. And so I'm going to attempt to get myself on a much more reasonable schedule going forward. I can't guarantee that, unfortunately. And trust me, I would love to. Because I do, as much as I struggle doing this, I really do like recording. It's fun. Ooh, very good. Cat O' 9 Tails, very nice. Let's take one more look on the floor real quick, and then we'll head down. I definitely don't have enough money to get the ladder. Would have been nice, but not gonna happen. And it's not worth going in that room. I'll grab the last heart on the way down. There we go. But yeah, in terms of the channel itself, I mean, just slowly but surely I will get comfortable. It's gonna take, I think, maybe about a year, especially once I'm like getting used to like a consistent schedule. Because that's, I think, the other thing that's been holding me back is I start recording, I kind of get comfortable for like a week, I start getting, you know, more used to certain mannerisms on how to record and stuff like that. And then either a computer gets destroyed or some other reason that I can't keep keep recording. Or like my headset goes out and then I have to wait a couple weeks, and I just don't have very good luck with technology. Let's see, we got the hangman. I mean, at least with Isaac, that's been the nice thing, is that Steam will keep my save file, which I've had my save file for a really long time. And that's been really nice because at least we never lose our place. Like with Stacklands, I hate to break it to you guys, but I'm probably going to have to record episode 1 all over again because once again, a computer decided to go out on me, and now I'm going to have to, you know, use the one that I'm presently using in order to record. But I mean, again, you live, you learn, you know, figure it out somehow. I don't think I want to keep that blasting cap. What is it, the brown cap? Is that what the item is? Either way, I don't think I want to keep it. But slowly but surely, I will get more and more used to this. I won't stutter as much, I won't trip over my words as much. Like I said, when I do Isaac recordings, I'm doing definitely a lot better with that. It's just other games that I'm not used to playing, or what style of play they would be. Like, definitely for Telefang, if we want to be honest, because I have to read dialogue, I have to focus on what the plot is, where we're going. It's a very different experience than something like this, where I don't have to really think about it as much, because I already pretty much know what we're doing. We're doing a mom run. Like a dildo. But, you know, it's also like, you know, I'm trying to kind of find myself as a creator. Like, some people like to put in a character, some people just like to be themselves. I haven't quite decided who I want to be yet in this whole thing that we do online. I mean, obviously I'm going to be me regardless, you know. Genuineness, I think, is, you know, something you'd really want to be as a creator. Because if you get too much into your character, I've noticed a lot of YouTubers do this, where they get a little too much into their character, and then they tend to forget which part of them is them and which part of them is the character. So I do think, to an extent, we kind of just have to be ourselves to an extent. We can play it up a little bit for laughs, but I don't know. I also don't think I want to be like one of those people that has everything about myself online, you know, like in real life streamers, stuff like that. And even if like you're just a vlogger, I've seen some people that just, you know, they provide a bit too much information. Not to say that they're bad people or anything, because they're not. It's just, it comes down to different strokes for different folks. What do we got in here? I think that's a spider bite, maybe? Is that what that is? Yeah, spider bite. It's not a bad item per se. It could be a lot worse. And again, I say that about a lot of items lately, but we're on a very limited item pool right now, so that makes a lot more sense. Alright. Gurglings. That was a good use of Shoop to Whoop. Yep, spider bite, definitely not a bad item. Not at this point, anyway. Eye drops. Do we want to make a devil deal? What do we have? How is that item available already? The one that stabs you and, like, brings you down to 1 health every floor. I mean, I can understand, I guess, why that would be part of the base now for repentance, but not exactly that great for you if you're not a great player. And as we know, I'm not that great of a player, so definitely not taking that. Granted, once I sort out the stuff in my eyes, I'd probably be a much better player. Because I get dizzy very easily from having to move so fast sometimes. Like, see, I could have avoided taking that damage, but I was looking at my peripheral at something on the screen. I actually use my peripheral vision to play Isaac. It's very interesting. That's how you avoid getting hit a lot. I don't think many people think to do that. What do we got in here? Maggots. That was a dumb hit. Definitely playing shitty today, but that's okay. We got in here, bomb. But, over time, I think once I get more long-term comfy, definitely find a way to figure out, what we want to do for the channel, what type of creator I want to be in general. You know what? Yeah, let's do this. You could just center, otherwise it might not blow up correctly. I gotta be careful, because this could spawn a troll bomb. That was worth it, I think. Yeah, we got our bombs back, and we got some nice keys. Is this gonna let us in now that we're down to 1 health? No. Okay, it wants us to be at full health for that one. Spider bite is definitely helping, so I can't complain. But there was a few side games that I definitely want to play at some point. I was actually trying to do recording a little while ago for a game called Fishy. I really like Fishy. I think it's adorable. It's from one of my favorite developers that I've come to actually really like a lot, called Sock Pop. They're the creators of Stacklands, which I have recorded for, last month on the channel. Stacklands itself, like I was saying earlier, we're gonna have to possibly re-record because technology. But I have everything on this computer now specifically, so everything should be fine. Well, that blows. Let me get more comfortable in the chair. There we go. Let's try again. Ooh. That is the leech. That is a very good item. No complaints on that. Let's go, leech. But yeah, I actually was talking to one of the people that might do the podcast with me, and they said that maybe when we actually do record for Stacklands that they'd like to be there to watch. But we will see. I would like to at least set it back up. Maybe this week at some point. I think my phone just went off, but I'm gonna ignore it for now. Alright, let's see. But yeah, this leech will definitely get us pretty far. And actually, I just realized, I think I said earlier that we didn't have the D6 because we haven't defeated Mom's Heart. But if I remember correctly, I think we defeated Mom's Heart at least once. So it might be that we haven't defeated it 10 times to unlock Blue Baby. That might be when we get the, we get the D6. Let's see. I was actually watching a video the other day. I forget who the creator was, otherwise I would link them. And they were talking about Isaac, and it felt like they really didn't get the point of the ending, especially for repentance. I think it's open-ended for repentance, because I've seen some interesting theories on what the ending is for repentance. I mean, it's debatable on how metaphorical you want to classify the Binding of Isaac in general. Because there are some people that consider the whole plot of Isaac to be completely metaphorical, considering, like, how Legend of Bumbo is and all that other stuff. It is debatable on if the whole death of Isaac and the rebirth of Isaac is all very, very metaphorical. Or if, most things are, semi-metaphorical and then, very literal in other places, such as his actual death in the chest. I would assume that his death in the chest is actually very, very literal, due to neglect. But at the same time, the ending, the truest ending, people speculate that he really did go to hell and stuff, and that repentance is him being saved due to from being saved from purgatory. But I noticed that the video that I was watching, the person doesn't mention, and again, this might just be me, theorizing and not, actual fact. The end of the final ending for repentance is the narrator from The Binding of Isaac, who we then, find out in Legend of Bumbo is actually the voice of Isaac's dad. He is telling a story, essentially just like he was at the beginning of the series. But he's sitting there with Isaac, which implies that it is actually Isaac's dad telling the story. And I've always kind of theorized, at least from what I understand of the ending, that it's Isaac's dad with Isaac in heaven telling him this story about how, they can restart the story all over again because they're dead now. They're not really bound to, the confines of the living realm because, life is complicated and life is imperfect. But Isaac is dead, and I believe there is an item in one of the expansions for The Binding of Isaac that implies that the father might have committed suicide. I can't remember exactly where I heard that from, in combination with a few other items. It might have been the death certificate, but I'm not sure if the death certificate is Isaac's death certificate or if it's his father's. It could be either or. But so theoretically the father has died previously, and then he meets Isaac in heaven, and he's telling him the bedtime story in heaven about how, it doesn't have to be the way that it was, that he can have exactly what he wanted, his family. And so that's why, the ending is they start the story can't speak today. They start the story all over again with, Isaac and his family lived in a small house. And I noticed that the video I was watching didn't really cover that, and I was very confused because that's a major part of the ending, is that particular line. Isaac and his family lived in a small house, not just him and his mother. And it was kind of profound, really, because this was a video that was supposed to talk about, this is the definitive understanding of Isaac's death and everything. Do I want that? Oh no, it actually gave me more. All right. I was worried that it was going to reduce my damage, but it actually didn't. Okay, so that's good, and we actually have good shot speed. So that'll be very nice. Oh, but yeah, it was just really interesting, because the person that I was watching, they made it sound like I was going to learn something new or interesting about the Binding of Isaac. And it just felt like it was just a rehash of everything we already knew, just like, oh, this ending means this ending means that. It also seemed like they got a little confused as to certain endings that had to do with what order they went in, because it claimed that it was like the Binding of Isaac in like the endings in order. Well, we're getting a lot of HP at least. Ooh, give me that. Oh, there's nothing else on this floor we need. We're good. I might check the shop on the next floor though. But yeah, so it's just kind of weird when I see like an essayist video like that acts like it's going to show you something that you've never seen before about a franchise. And then it just regurgitates the same information that I think 90% of people have told us about a franchise. And then like the last like 5% might be something new, but it might also not be. Mr. Me is in the basement. Good. Mr. Me is a pretty decent item. I'm being a little reckless because I have the leech. I'm gonna hold on to that magician card. I could definitely use that for the fight against Mom's Heart. Unless I find another one. Was a reckless hit. Okay, we got enough HP. We're not too worried about it. I think if I get enough heart containers, I can unlock Maggie. Maggie's better to play as later on once I've unlocked a bunch of stuff. But, yeah, no, it's one of those things, like, I don't think I would ever want to go into, like, doing essays or, like, be an essay channel. As much as we have the podcast and we like to talk about nerdy things, and in particular, as we know, I like to talk about Kingdom Hearts and a few other series that are of my interest, I don't think that I would want to do slop essay content, as we'll call it. Like, I don't think that would be very fun. Because, like, it is cool if you don't know anything about a series. Yeah, I can use this in this room. There we go. But in terms of, like, even when we're on the podcast, the things that I do talk about, most of it comes from, like, personal knowledge of a series. I don't really think I would want to sit there and overly research, as much as I do pride myself in knowing a lot about the things that I do enjoy. Overly researching obsessively, I don't think... Because what if your sources are wrong? Like, I see that very often where someone will just find something on Wikipedia and be like, yeah, it must be correct because it's on Wikipedia. People don't really vet their sources anymore, and for certain sources, there isn't actually a way to vet them. A great example would be, so, there's a dead link that I've really been trying to see if anyone has archived. It was a speech that Derek Stephen Prince, the voice of Vexen, he did a speech at, like, an after party for Kingdom Hearts 3, something like that. I don't remember if it was like a venue person who had a Tumblr that posted it, but it was somebody who had something to do with, like, the people that worked on the game. Again, I don't know if it was like a recorder's after party after it was released, whatever it was. But Derek, Steph, and Prince, I guess, went to some type of after party after the game was released to celebrate the release of Kingdom Hearts 3. And while he was there, he gave a speech, like a parody style, like roast of Kingdom Hearts. And it was very, very funny. Now, whether the roast is actually like real or not, I'm not sure. But it made some pretty like dark jokes that I don't think Square Enix would have really cared for. And that's probably why it was taken down, so that Square Enix didn't sue anybody. Oh, alright. Yeah, I was gonna go into the shop. Ooh, chaos. That's a very nice item you have. Oh. I don't have an activated item. We got one more room over there. But yeah, so I went to go look for this, and I couldn't find it anywhere. Because even if Derek, Steph, and Prince... Imagine the whole thing's made up, right? Even if it's made up, the roast was very funny. And now I can't find it anywhere. And it sucks. But imagine, you know, first of all, you have sources that can't be verified because they're being taken down all the time. Whether it's by, you know... What would I call that? Like, internet people like Cloudflare or stuff like that. Because Cloudflare didn't like something, because it makes them look bad to support a website like that, or whether it is, you know, just a website like Twitter didn't want it staying up. Like, it's kind of sad that, like, at a certain point you can't find certain sources. But then to top it all off, some of the stuff may not even be translated. Again, Kingdom Hearts being the prime example. Some of that stuff never gets translated. Some of those interviews never get translated. Look at how long it took for the Kingdom Hearts 3... the book that came out for Kingdom Hearts 3, it was the character book. Basically like the character and like lore Bible that was released after Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. I am getting hit a lot because I am not paying attention, because I am talking too much. I need to be more careful. I need to pay attention to Big Worm, Big Mama Worm. But yeah, like that stuff, we had to rely on fan translations for months, if not a few years. Some people didn't even know that the book finally did get translated and was in stores. It wasn't really widely advertised very well. I mean, I know when I found out of it, I was like, oh, you're kidding? They finally translated that thing? Like, because I knew it existed, but I didn't know they finally had translated it. Alright, HP up, bloody bombs. Yep, there is Maggie. Challenge 5, the tank. Curse challenge. Alright, well that's another character to play with at some point. Again, she's probably better to play with once there's more items. But yeah, like... I just wish there was like better archiving for a lot of this fan stuff. And not only that, but I wish there were better translations. Like, I'm doing Telefang right now. And Telefang, it took a group of really dedicated people to translate that game. And that game is hilarious. Like, I wasn't expecting that so much of the plot was going to revolve around, you know, we want to colonize, essentially. And I don't mean colonize in the political sense of, like, you know, we come to another world and we take it over. I mean, no, I guess it kind of is that, sort of. But I don't mean, like, as in, like, the hipster, like, present political climate way of saying colonize. I mean, like, the actual way that people colonized. Like, human beings are coming to the Denju world, and they want political power in that space. And it's so weird. It's so bizarre that that is a plot point in a game from over, oh god, 25 years ago. Like, well over 25 years ago, almost 30 years ago. And it's almost like it's played off very, like, silly and for laughs. like at one point, and then at another point it's played off as like super serious. Like, especially when you process what's actually being said. Oh, but like, look at Pokemon. Pokemon's a prime example. Like, the whole plot of Pokemon is that there is a criminal mob boss running around, and he's trying to take over. I mean, even especially in the manga, like, he's trying to take over by, like, buying out the gym leaders, buying out the Elite Four. And, like, the main character doesn't even know that this is a plot point when they first, you know, start traveling. They think that they're just, you know, oh, I'm gonna go be a Pokemon master or whatever. I'm gonna go do the gym challenge and go to the Indigo Plateau. And that's not what it ends up being. It ends up being about this guy who's trying to take over the region by, you know, I guess political bribery. Very similar to Telefang. And it's just so bizarre. I mean, technically it's more like Italian mafia, like, you know, you don't mess with Team Rocket. They take over whatever they please, and they steal people's stuff and they get away with it. But, like, I mean, if you told me that that was the plot of Pokemon, I think I would laugh at you. Especially because most people are like, oh no, it's just you want to be the very best, like no one ever was. It's like, yeah, I mean, maybe in the anime that's what it's about. But not the games. The games get pretty dark. And each game seems to get darker than the last one. Like, I've not played X and Y, so I don't actually know the plot of X and Y, but I could have swore that someone told me that there's, like, genocide. Or, like where Gen 5 was, oh, you must release your Pokemon because, you know, Pokemon have rights too, like it's PETA. What was that, Gen 7 for X and Y? Gen 6, whatever it is. Apparently we must kill all Pokemon because we're gonna build like a, you know, a perfected organizational like society where with only like the best Pokemon and the best human beings that the world has to offer get to live. Like, that's so weird. I better not screw up this run because I'm not paying attention. I'm babbling too much. You know what it is? I haven't been able to do a podcast episode in so long that I just want to babble about something. Because that's honestly what I enjoy more, was doing the podcast, but... Ooh, too spooky. Well, that'll keep things from getting too close, at least. That's gonna be helpful. Because if we get too close to it, yeah, it'll run away from us. Which is good. Leech is gonna be very helpful in this room. So we can target whatever it isn't targeting. But, you know, it's just like, I guess more what I'm saying is that, like, when you look at something like Telefang, it's just kind of blatant, where at least with Pokemon it was a bit more subtle. I just didn't expect the game to just come out and be like, yeah, it's a political thing. We want to take over this world by, like, becoming the president. Which, I mean, what I don't understand is, this is the one part of the plot I don't understand, because again, it's translated to the best of its ability. You know, because again, fan translated. Like, I wouldn't even know who gave that party the idea that just because they're humans and somebody votes for them that they can be president. That would be like, you know, it's like going to another country and expecting that someone's just going to make you the president because someone voted for you because you paid for votes. It's very funny. I don't know, maybe Denju aren't very smart. Maybe they like people enough where they'd be like, yeah, sure, I'd like a human president. But in a lot of these games, like, I almost question, like, what's the point? Like, do you get something for ruling over the Denju? Is there, like, magical powers or something? Because in some series, they tell you. Again, like Kingdom Hearts, it doesn't do a very good job of explaining, but at least in some areas, there's, like, an explanation for why the bad guy wants to destroy the world. Not always in, Stop hitting me, Gertie. Ow. Not moving fast enough. Because I'm being stupid and I'm getting distracted by my own thoughts. But, like, it's actually, like, quite interesting how children's media tends to be. Like, I wish... And I'm not going to act like all children's media is like this, but quite a bit of children's media, or even just, like, fan media in general, especially the older stuff from, like, the 90s, a lot of it, you know, they'd wave their fingers in front of a kid's face and be like, yeah, the bad guy is bad because... Like, when I look at Kingdom Hearts, it's a great example. When you actually look at all the things that Organization 13 does, ignoring the Master Xehanort plot, Organization 13 actually didn't really do anything bad. Does that make them, like, perfect in that they're not, like, slightly against the hero's interests? That's not true. You could say that they're against the hero's interest a little bit. But in terms of, like, their goals... Do I want that key? Want that. Oh. Like, in terms of, again, like, the hero's goals, can't even say that Organization 13 entirely went against, like, Sora's goals. Or even, like, King Mickey's goals. It's very bizarre that, aside from the Master Xehanort plot, we don't really get a good explanation for why, Mickey and Diz... Well, we know why Diz doesn't like Organization 13. But Mickey specifically, or even Master Yensid, why they do not like... why they do not like Organization 13. And again, ignoring the Master Xehanort plot, because for a while, the Xehanort saga wasn't even going to be allowed to be run by Disney. As far as I know, like, that was something that... It's kind of debated on if Nomura got the approval. Because look at what happened with Final Fantasy Versus 13. Which definitely would have connected back into Kingdom Hearts. That got canceled, and a bunch of other stuff that would have needed to go into the Master... What would be considered now to be the Master Xehanort plot. Got stripped out for a little bit. Because that particular game got canceled. And it's fascinating because, like, if you completely... with the assumption that Final Fantasy Versus 13 was canceled, and that would have literally been the end of the Xehanort saga, and that we would have never gotten another Kingdom Hearts game. Organization 13 as the villain is actually way more sympathetic because if you look at the logic behind it all, it's either all a very big misunderstanding, mostly incited by Diz, who didn't like Organization 13, or it's just straight up, people, I don't like you, so therefore you're evil. Which, again, going back to what I was saying about children's media, is kind of dumb. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Get off the screen. Get off the screen. Get off the screen. Am I not doing enough damage? I haven't gotten a damage up in a little bit. That's probably what the problem is. Because I don't think Too Spooky gives me the damage up. I think there's another item that kind of does what Too Spooky does and gives you a damage up, and I didn't get that item. Either that or I didn't get a damage up from the Too Spooky item. But yeah, it's just... Before I go on a giant tangent about Kingdom Hearts, it's just... I wish there was better children's media where if you're going to tell people, I don't like this person, at least give a better reason why that isn't just a misunderstanding or making something up. Because maybe it's just me. I feel like there would be much more communication than that in the world. Okay, that was dumb. Why did I walk into that? Alright, I can get up really close to these guys because they'll turn around and avoid me. I forgot. Because I have too spooky. The reason I am bringing this up is, like, I've noticed in the last couple of years, there's just not a lot of really good children's media that has come out of... I mean, I will give credit where credit is due. What's it called? Adventure Time was decent. I was not the biggest fan of it, but I will give credit where credit is due, where when you consider what the plot of Adventure Time was, and the fact that they did make it disambiguous as to who was really the bad guy, that is a better story. Because ultimately, by the time you get to the end of it, when you get to, like, the Fiona and Cake saga and all that other stuff, yeah, I do know about that, considering I wasn't the biggest fan of it. It's better written, where you don't actually have to have this is the evil bad guy. You have a much more disambiguous, like, well, not everybody is good and not everybody is evil, but people are different for different reasons. Which I think is a much more compelling way that the plot was handled. You know, people sometimes do things for different reasons, or people sometimes don't always do the nicest or greatest things for certain reasons. Because, I mean, a lot of people have pointed out that, like, Princess Bubblegum is not exactly a great person. And even in Fiona and Cake, the character that's supposed to be Princess Bubblegum, it's debatable on, you know, what she was like while crazy or whatever. I mean, it's just... that's better well written. Much more well written. But then you have, like, I don't know, Saturday morning cartoon stuff in, like... you know, like the stereotypical, like, I am bad because I want to be bad. That only works in certain instances. Like, it only works when you have a character that's just, like, when it just fits the character archetype to do that. And again, that doesn't always make it good either. Like, even if you have a character that's well written with that background, it doesn't always make them good. Megamind is a prime example of a movie where, like, a character, quote-unquote, is bad. More neutral than anything. But they, quote-unquote, relish in the idea of being bad. Like, honestly, as a superhero movie, it was pretty good. I'm not going to get into the big specifics about Megamind right now. I haven't seen it in a while, so I wouldn't be able to get into too many specifics. But a lot of the things that it did as a movie made it work really well. So I should probably use a different example. Looking at modern DC and modern DC and modern what's it called? Marvel. That's what it is. Like, it's not fun because things are not relatable. Shoving in a bunch of, like... how would they refer to it when I was younger? Oh, we got the devil. I'm gonna keep that for now. Again, I would like to really carry this to Mom's heart because I want to be able to just straight up just hit with every shot and destroy things that are in my way with every shot. Where was I? You can tell I'm getting old. I'm not too old yet, but old enough. But like, modern Marvel is too busy trying to push an agenda, 'cause, you know, Disney, instead of just telling a good superhero story. Which is a major problem. And it's not like DC is, like, not doing the same thing, like, all of them are. But it's... For stories that tend to be, like, superhero stories or, like, save the day type of thing, it's better that they are timeless and they tell a story that everyone can relate to. Otherwise, you end up with this problem in media where something is like, oh, well, it's not for me because it's not telling me something that relates to me. Am I saying that everything should be super relatable? No. Because then it just becomes a corporate sloppo. Because then it can, you know, anyone can be like, oh, well, this is so dumbed down that anybody can relate to it and it's not very interesting or fun. It's not something slightly different. But, I mean, if we're looking at something like, I don't know, Batman, I think the only thing that they've started doing lately, especially in modern Batman, is Batman was already kind of dark, especially in the older comics. But they've kind of just taken everything that makes Batman interesting and fun as a darker series and turned it into how darker can we get it? The Dark Knight series... Not the Dark Knight. What am I talking about? The Arkham series. There we go. Arkham was a great series, and Arkham did the dark parts of Batman very well, without having to go to like the extremes of like the Killing Joke, or like the Bat Who Laughs, stuff like that. Like those types of series. Hold on one second. Let's see. What do we got here? Awesome. We got Ancient Recall in the basement. The Sun. A Two of Clubs. A question mark card. And I'll take the Magician with me. But like overall, in general, like it... Those are interesting stories, I guess. They're different, but they're not very good. And most of the target audience will tell you we didn't like it. It wasn't that good. And the problem is like, people will tell you, hey, it wasn't good, please stop. And they'll just keep making the same stuff. Which is bizarre to me. Like, if the audience has already said, hey, we don't like that, maybe don't do that, and there wasn't enough approval, like, from most of the people that are supposed to be your target audience, maybe don't make that again. You see it in video games as well. A lot of that's going on in video games right now, where people be like, yeah, I don't like this, can we, like, do something else? And people just be like, oh, well, the focus groups say that we need to do this. What's the Nostalgia Critic that talked about the focus group joke? Where they're like, yeah, you know, focus group, you know, the chart says, and indeed, it is literally one of those the chart says. Focus groups are not the target audience. Focus groups are, you know, lawyers and other legal people who are trying to make a company more money. But most of the time, they're so out of touch that they don't really make them as much money as they could make them. They might make them more money in the short run, but they're not going to make them more money in the long run. You know, by appealing to a very niche group for a very short period of time. But then it also damages reputation at a certain point. I mean... Oh, I still have one of these? Let's see. The strength card. Do I want to bring the strength card in the other room? Let me see. Yeah. Nah, that got me more hit than I would like. Yeah, strength card got me more hit than helped. Ooh. I'll leave that there for a second. I'll come back for that, because we gotta go that way anyway. But yeah, it's... I mean, what I'm saying isn't exactly anything new. I'm sure you probably hear this from plenty of other people that analyze media. Like, again, I'm not saying anything that's, like, unique or inspiring or... I just kind of wish that we could get more fun stuff. And granted, there is a time and place for niche. But maybe, like, if you're a large company and you didn't start your brand on the niche, maybe don't try to make that your whole gimmick. At the lazy worm. No. You'll give me a coin, right? Oh, only sometimes you give me a coin. I don't remember what 2 does. I need to memorize what these dice rooms do. More health. Oh, as long as we can maintain decent health, we should be able to... As long as I don't screw this up from getting hit a lot. Which I am doing an awful job in this run. This little Gertie is actually helping me out quite a bit. Oh, is that Sci-Fly? Oh. Yes, it is. Okay. Okay, I don't know how we lose this run now, because that's Sci-Fly. Yeah, no. There's no way we lose this run now, unless I'm that stupid. I'm gonna be that stupid, aren't I? Famous last words. Okay. I really need to focus now, because I don't want to lose this run. You know what? I'm gonna take that. Oh. Oh, yes. Okay. Would have been a lot better if... Would have been a lot better if I did not have Libra, but that is okay. Let's see. Let's play this a little bit. Nice. Maybe we'll come back before we leave this floor. But I can go get that other black heart that I left on the floor earlier. Bad. Stupid. Dumb. That might help me more than I would think, though. Just a bit. Yeah, by doing that. Oh, we didn't get the item on the floor. Ooh. Oh, that's very helpful. Okay, I've already been in here. You know what? We can play the machine, like, one more time in case it does give us... Play it a bit more. coin. It sucks. Oh well. I don't think there's any more shops from here. Where is my card? Gotta pick that back up. Okay, we don't want to miss that. We don't want to forget that. I mean, Sci-Fly is going to help us out a lot with the Mom's Heart boss anyway, but... I'm hoping in the next couple of years we get better media. I guess is more what I'm saying, because it could be so much better, so much more original, so much more interesting. Am I gonna act like I know all the answers to that? No, I don't. I mean, understandable why, like, at a certain point, things aren't entirely super original. But they don't even really need to be original. They just have to be written well. And I think that's just something people forget, is you don't need to write something super original. As long as it's something that people find interesting or is well written, then, you know, people will enjoy it. Problem is, a lot of the stuff that's come out in the last couple years have not been, like, you know, it's usually been, like, corporate shill, like, propaganda crap. And I'm not gonna try and get, like, political or anything, because I don't really care about that shit. And I guess that's part of the problem, is I don't care about, like, corporate propaganda shit. I don't find that stuff very interesting. I don't find it, like... I don't identify with any of that shit. And I think the vast majority of people really don't. My damage sucks. It's a good thing I'm holding on to that magician card, because I'm gonna need it. Picking up Libra was not the best idea, but it could be a lot worse, I guess. My damage isn't super bad. It is making this fight insufferable, though. Okay, that's what I wanted to happen. At least got another familiar, and that will be helpful. The leech is actually doing very well for us, though. And that I can appreciate. This mom's fight is taking way, way too long. I don't remember if we end up keeping those Gemini babies. Oh. Well, the game's being very nice to us, very generous. That is quints. So that'll spawn familiars to help shoot when we kill things. See, just like that. Tears down. Oh, my stats went down. Didn't realize that those were laser babies, so they weren't doing anything because I wasn't releasing. So the goal here is we're going to want to get to Mom's Heart as quickly as possible. We don't really need to stay on these floors. There's not much else we can really find that's going to help us, except maybe some pills. Except maybe this. Let's see. Come on, we can do more damage than that. Not getting close enough to things, that's why. Someone is messaging me on my phone, but they can wait. That is how work is. People tend to message me when I'm at work. Nothing wrong with that, honestly. It's nice to have some company, usually, but at this present moment... What do we have? Experimental pill, range up, speed down. Oh, that actually gave me a lot of stats up. Tears up. Alright, we're at least at 402 for damage. That at least did something. Get my magician back. That card's not worth it because we're not going to keep it. To get off this floor. There's more than one. There's 3. Okay, that's not good. Not fun. We're not gonna do well in this room. Just keep moving. Just keep moving. So I'll take that hit. That's not a problem. Wait. Hill? Are you... That's not good. Okay. Two bombs for 3 isn't too bad. This isn't as bad as it could be because at least the shots from Are You a Wizard will go into the ring around me, and I can still use that as a weapon. Okay, it looks like most of the pill wore off while I was in that other room. At least it didn't last for too long. Oh, let's see. I'm going to be careful of that laser. But I mean, I would be curious to see, like, what types of media people in the younger age group are actually really interested in. Because, like, again, Adventure Time was not bad. Again, it's not my preference. There are some things in it that are very Gen Z, and, I mean, not surprising. That's kind of who it was made for. But that doesn't necessarily make it bad. That was one of those things where I could at least say, yeah, that is, you know, reminiscent of something where there are values that are kind of, I wouldn't say preached, but definitely, like, it exemplifies things that people might want to learn growing up. Things about empathy, making mistakes. Finn makes a lot of mistakes. And, I mean, he kind of faces the consequence of a lot of those mistakes. It's also very reminiscent of like older generation bedtime stories. So I can definitely see the appeal of Adventure Time. Then you have things like regular show. Now, regular show seems like the type of thing that I would have watched on Adult Swim in the early 2000s. It doesn't necessarily make it bad. It doesn't even necessarily make it like super inappropriate, because there were things on Adult Swim that I used to watch when I definitely was too young to be watching those things. A regular show just seems like something that older teens, like young adults, would have related to a lot more than like younger teens. Or Cartoon Network seems like something much more for like younger teenagers. The idea of like you have these two characters that basically like have, I mean, Mordecai and Rigby, what? It's like a part-time job that they work for Pop. Oh, I want that pill. Is the pill good? Yes, it is. Give me that.
Shot speed up.
But like, you know, that's it's not like teenagers don't have part-time jobs. Just the way that it's kind of designed, and I think the creators that worked on regular show openly stated that it was kind of more made for Adult Swim and not really made for Cartoon Network, which is why I'm confused as to how it ended up on Cartoon Network. It's kind of like how SpongeBob initially was meant to be like a much more mature show. The difference with SpongeBob, though, is they at least made a majority of the changes that made it a lot more interesting. I mean, it's not perfect. It's still SpongeBob. Not to say that SpongeBob is bad. I grew up watching SpongeBob. It's just not as good as it used to be. That's probably what I would say about SpongeBob. It's not as good as it used to be. It's overstayed its welcome. That's the other problem, is because a lot of people in the modern day are not making new things. I'm getting my ass wiped. Ouch. Well, not wiped. Floor's getting wiped with me, but my ass is getting kicked. I think we have just one more floor and then we make it to Mom's heart. I would really, really hate to lose now. Especially with being super distracted. This is a boss. I don't want to get blown up. Please don't get me blown up. The leech is fighting the boss for me. Okay, well, there's a heart for me. Necropolis. Locked. Soul heart. So we got Mama Gertie. I just need to stand in a place where I can't get hit with spikes, because Sci-Fly will take care of the rest. I can't stand for too long. But if I move too much, Sci-Fly can't protect me. Don't tell me I'm gonna lose this run because Mama Gertie spikes. That would really suck. Well, that sucked. That blew big donkeys. Well, unfortunately, another failed attempt. I don't have too much time left for this episode, but you know what? Considering that the last couple of runs have been really shitty, I think I will probably record another one this week just to make it up to you guys. A better run. And if that one don't go well, then I guess I'll have to make it up to you again. But anyways, that's all the time we got for this one. This has been Indigo, and we need better media. I'm gonna look around for it. There's better games out there that I would really love to play for this channel. I honestly, I want to do a lot more niche stuff for the channel. Again, I'll probably get around to doing that play of Fishy. I'm probably going to do it as just a silent game, though it's a very short little game. I think it's very cute. I probably wouldn't be more than 30 minutes. But still, it's nice to like listen to the sounds in the background and stuff. So even if you don't watch it directly, the sounds are nice and the music is adorable. Uh, but that is something I kind of really want for this channel. More niche, interesting things, which is ironic because I was just rambling on about making things timeless and things. Again, niches have a place. They do. And I think that it is good to have things that have a niche. But there's a difference between an indie developer making something really niche and different versus mainstream, like, shows and games and stuff. Generally, you're playing to a very specific audience. I guess that's what I was trying to get at earlier. Is that generally, I wouldn't say that you want to make yourself too broad, but you want to be, like I said before, timeless. That's why a lot of our stories and a lot of the games that we still talk about with nostalgia, they have those qualities to them. I remember picking up Paper Mario. It's just Mario, but he's paper. Very simple concept. You're still going to be playing a Mario game. You're still going to be playing, saving the princess. It's just a new spin on saving the princess. The art is very cute. You could argue that that's niche, but you could also argue that it is playing on a formula that Nintendo already knew worked. And guess what? It sold a lot of copies. It was an RPG. It was nostalgic for, Super Mario and the Seven Stars. I think that's the name of it. The Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. That's what it is. But regardless, if I stay here too long, I'll be rambling. This has been Indigo, and as always, be safe, everybody.